All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're up here at Kyle Durant's. This is in Claxton, Georgia. Spent a lot of time up here, great place, and we actually bought the Buick here that Bella had. But today we're going to talk about used, and I want to give you guys some pointers. So when you get rid of your car, you're going to trade it in, or if you want to sell a vehicle outright, the dealership is usually not your best bet, and often not even for trade-in. So let's talk about that. If you look here, this is their used lot. Okay, certified pre-owned as the sign says, but this is their used lot. This is also a used one right here as well too, things like that. So we got some used trucks on here, some things here. Got a nice ZR2 sitting right there, but we have these used vehicles, and look at all these classics. Look at all these Ram classics. Look at how gorgeous this is. I talked about this in a walk-around video, okay? But like I said, look at how nice that is. And again, too, people are like, well, you know, most people don't use their trucks as trucks. We hear that all the time. You got to understand where I am. I'm in Georgia. We're in farm country down here, and we're people that work for a living. Look at all these used ones. Look at ranch hands on both of them. Ranch hand, just so you know, is a brand, and they're very expensive, very high quality. But we got a ranch hand on here. Looks like our same exact ranch hand on that one there. And, you know, good quality off-road tires on these things. Like I said, they're not playing around here. They got stuff to do. These things work for a living here. Trucks work for a living. But when you want to sell a vehicle used, there are some things that you got to take into consideration. Or trade in. It doesn't matter. Well, let's talk trade in, then selling used. So if you're going to trade your vehicle in, most people assume that they have to trade it in at the dealer in order to, because they're trading it in, right? So here it is. You're gonna go buy that. You're buying that ZR2, sitting right there, that Colorado ZR2, and you worked the deal out for them, and you're at about $49,000. You're all excited. You worked out, and everything is good, and you're like, yes, okay. Now for your trade-in. And your trade-in comes in, and you'll say you're trading this in right here, and they say, okay, well, we're going to give you $30,000 for this. And you're like, no. This is worth $38,000. What do you mean $30,000? Well, that's the value for us. That's what it's going to be. That's how we got to do it. Well, they want to turn around and sell it for $40,000. They want the days of car dealerships only making $2,000 and $3,000 on your trade. Those days are long gone. They have been since COVID. Okay, those are long gone. They want to make 6, 8, 5, 8, 7, 9, 10 grand off your vehicle. And that's the way the world works today. So they're going to come in and they're going to tell you, if they tell you 30 grand, and you're like, well, they think they own you because you've already worked the deal on this. So they already own you. They gave you money off on that. They're like, we already gave you $4,000 off on this thing. And, you know, so you got to take this to get that deal. It's part of the game. You do not. Okay, you work that as two separate deals. You don't ever bring in your trade, or you can, but you mention it. But when you go to buy this truck, when you go to buy this right here, you're going to tell them, you're going to say, yeah, I'm interested in buying this. Here's the numbers I'm looking for, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, what are you trading in? You say, I got something that I could trade in if the numbers are right, but it's going to matter because I've done my research. And if the numbers on the trade are not right, I will sell that outright. So let's not worry about my trade in right now. Let's focus on the deal we have at hand because the trade is irrelevant. Well, wait, it's not irrelevant. Oh, yes, it is irrelevant because that is a separate transaction. I know what it's worth. I know what I'll take for it. I know what I can get from other places. So that we can deal with. If you want it, you're welcome to it. If you don't and we don't hit it, that gets taken care of by somebody else. Not a problem for you. Your thing you need to focus on is getting me the deal on that Colorado. See what I'm saying? They're like, whoa, hold, no, holding on. It doesn't work that way. You're not gonna, you know, give me $4 grand here and rip me off $8 grand here. It's not gonna happen. I'm not playing that game with you. You think you have the upper hand, but you do not in this situation. So understand the reality. So the trade is a separate deal. So let's say that you worked out the deal on a Colorado. Everything went fantastic. Now comes the time of your trade. And you tell them, and you know that it's worth $38,000. And he tells you, I'll give you $30,000 for it. You just simply say, no, thank you. I have better offers than that already, and I'm going to take advantage of them. Let's just buy the Colorado. Whoa, hold on. What kind of offers are you getting? Okay, well, I'm getting way more than that. I'm actually at $38,000 and I have no problem getting it whatsoever. Who's going to give you $38,000? Does it matter really? Because it's either that you are or you are not. So it doesn't matter. I have an option for $38,000. Either you want to match it and take the truck from me, or I sell it to them and we don't include it in the deal. That's the way it works. Okay, well, hold on. Well, we can come back. We can do $36,000. Your choice to take it, or you take the 38. Where did you get the 38 from? How did you get to 38 on this deal? Okay, well, it's the same thing as everything else. You're going to jump on your computer and you're going to type in the license plate number on Car Gurus, on Carvana, on CarMax, and any of those places. Vroom is no longer around. They've been gone for a couple of years, but you're going to type in your plate number and your state you live in. It's going to pull up all your information about your vehicle. You're going to type in the mileage, and you're going to answer a couple of little questions. Has it been smoked in? Do you have 2 key fobs? Anything mechanical wrong with it? Blah, 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 blah. And then you are going to submit that, and about 27 seconds later, they're going to give you a price on this. Okay, that price they're going to probably give you is going to be about let's just say it comes in at $36,000 from Carvana. You're like, okay, well, that's not bad. Now at least I know where I'm at on there. I know what that number is. So you're feeling pretty good. But there's also times that number is much higher than that. So you got this, you're at 36 from Carvana. Next thing you want to do is the same thing through CarMax. And the next thing you want to do is through like Edmunds, and Edmunds will submit it to all local dealerships around your area. They will all give this to you. All you need to do this is a day before you're ready to come by to your new Colorado, because it gives you a chance to get that done. CarMax, we just sold Bella's Buick to CarMax. You know, I just helped her do that on there. We went to Carvana. Carvana came in at $17,800 on a 2024 Buick Envista with 40,000 miles on it. They came back at $17,800 on it. She was like, that seems too low. I'm not happy with that. I said, hold on, relax. And then I went and did the same exact thing on CarMax. But with CarMax, they said, well, we also need some pictures of your car. I went right through their app. Okay, I opened up, they give me a little QR code, you scan it with your phone, walk outside, it tells you stand here and take this picture. Boom, take it. So 6 pictures later, upload it on there. I walk in the house. Before I even got in the house, I had a text message and an email from them with my offer, which was actually $19,800. So it was over $2,000 more for CarMax. I said, great, we'll take that one. I showed Bella, she said, yeah, that one works for me. We took the CarMax offer, and we took it, and then we went up to CarMax. I made an appointment for 2 days later, and we drove up there. We walked in, I told them who I was. They said, great, drop your keys right here. And they said, somebody will be right out with you. 5 minutes later, they came out, they had the title work done, everything written there. They said, sign here, sign here, sign here, and sign here. And then they said, okay, here is your check for the difference, and you have yourself a wonderful day. And they were gone, and it was done. Boom, like that, in and out, probably 15 minutes max. So you have those options. So don't think for a second that you are stuck dealing with a dealership on trade-in. And maybe you're like, well, I don't want to sell it privately. Don't sell it privately then. Check Carvana, check CarMax, check Edmunds, check AutoTrader, check the online resources, call other dealers, okay? Remember, when I bought that Power Wagon, barely see it there, but we got a Power Wagon kind of tucked in right there. But when I bought that, I was trading in my Gladiator. Okay, I contacted 2 dealerships in Georgia, where I live, on that Gladiator, and both of them were $4,500 less than what Mark Dodge was in Louisiana, where I was buying the truck from. No brainer to drive it there and trade it in. No brainer at all. $4,500 difference. Okay, so it's important that you understand the power of this. You are not a victim. You are not the one stuck. Because you have a trade-in doesn't mean you have baggage. It doesn't mean that you are stuck. It doesn't mean that you are in trouble. Or if you don't want to trade a vehicle in and you buy something when it's all said and done, doesn't mean that you have to sell it privately and that you're going to be having a hard time to do it. Maybe you wanted to keep this truck, but you bought one of these brand new, and then later on you decide you like this better and you're just going to sell this because you don't need it anymore. That doesn't mean that you have to sell it privately. You can 100% sell this by simply doing these online places. They are quick, they are easy, they are simple. And dealerships do it also too. Now, I told you about Mark Dodge doing that. How did Mark Dodge evaluate my vehicle? He simply said to me on the phone, he said, what's your VIN number? I gave it to him. Said, how many miles are on it? I gave it to him. He asked me a couple questions about the vehicle. I told him. And then he said, send me over 5 pictures. Told me, I sent him 5 pictures through text real quick, and boom, I was done. 10 minutes later, I had a full actual value, an evaluation, a quote, everything was done, and that's exactly the number I got when I got there. That's simple. So you could literally, if you're here and you wanted to get this done, you could work the deal here, but you could also contact and send a text message to call like Toyota. call Franklin, call Paul Thingpen, call every one of these dealers around here and say, hey, I got a 2024 Ram 1500 Classic that I'm going to get rid of. I'm already working a deal on another new car, and I want to see what I can get for this, and I want to know if your deal is better than theirs. I'm not trading it in on there. I'll go to you for it. And you give them, again, you already have them on your phone. You give them 5 pictures inside and out. You give them the mileage, you give them the stuff, and then they get back to you a half hour later and says, we'll give you this much for it. Understand it? Look at how empty this used car lot is. This is used car. There's like 20. Okay, they're begging for your trade-in. But they also know that if you're doing it during part of your purchase, that they own you. They own you completely, and there's no way for you to get out of it. They straight up have you dialed in. And sorry, cars driving around shopping. But they know that they own you, and you can't get out of the situation. So it's kind of irrelevant. So, you know, but you're not. You're not a victim. You're not stuck with that. Don't be afraid to change the game up and throw them for a loop and take advantage of it. It is your deal, as we've said many times. It is your money. It is your situation. We don't have to play the dealership game. And if this dealership won't give you enough for your vehicle, go to another dealership or sell it online. Questions, comments, anything you got, put them down below. Thanks for watching.